Hello, everybody. It's me. Penguin produces. I don't know why, but I felt like doing what all the real Project Moon YouTubers do and review an ID. There are about 3 pages to go through, and I'm ready to reveal basically Muga Ryōshū. Wow, I forgot I had the worst. I got the worst quality image. Try my best though. Blade of House of Spires, 000 Identity Ryōshū. First one, triple slash and some Chinese. At X poise, gain coin power, gain final power for every burn plus bleed on target, and on use gain poise count. Honestly, a 3 coin skill 1 seems to be what they've been trying to do recently. Since I assume this is a season highlight entity, I'm gonna assume it's 6 poise for 2 coin power, and then the bleed burn conditional is interesting. Um, I think this is probably gonna be a very good skill 1. Um, it's just gonna take a while to get really good. And then on use gain poise, which is always good. On crit bleed count and on crit burn count are interesting. On hit gain poise inflict after image. I think what's it called? I think it's this one right here, blade trail after image, which we'll talk about later. Uh, on a hit, inflict blade trail after image. On target equal to entanglement on self. On crit inflict bleed. On crit deal slash damage equal to entanglement. Percentage of X. That's a lot for just like one skill 1, by the way. So I think that's very interesting. There's a skill 1 too. Oh, they have skill 1. What? All right, there's gonna be a lot to go over. I can already tell. I like the art though. All right, skill 2, triple slash entanglement. At X poise gain coin power. I think it's 6 and it's going to be a max of like 2 or 3 personally, and already going to have pre coin power, then gain final power, then gain poise count. Um, since this is a Pinky ID and it's modern, I think there's going to be like a Ren Claire situation where you gain a bunch of poise count for basically free, and you're never worried about poise. That's my theory, anyways. This one is all us to go over, but I assume it rolls higher. So on use game, on hit game poise, on crit inflict bleed, on hit inflict burn, on crit inflict bleed, on hit inflict bleed, on crit inflict bleed. Burn. On crit deal slash damage equal to entanglement times X of final coins damage. Just looks like that's gonna do a lot of coin damage. Is that 6 on uses? Jesus. Rend space. On use, gain final power for every X poise on self. Gain base power equal to X burn bleed on main target. Burn plus bleed. Deal more damage for every entanglement on self. Gain poise. Gain attack weight for every entanglement on self. Deal more damage for every excess attack weight beyond the axis attack. Alright. After attack, randomly affect entanglement on self. Okay. And then after image between targets and skill slot. And then here's it, deal more damage on crit hit. Wasn't needed, but sure. On on hit, inflict burn. On crit, activate bleed on target. Target lose bleed count. That goes twice. And deal slash damage equal to entanglement. Yeah, no, this actually looks like a really good skill 3. It's probably going to be the same power of Renclair's skill 3, but it looks like it's easier to activate the conditional, if that makes sense. Probably. We'll see. Um, I would immediately go for this 3-3, but I think we're gonna go for the skill 1-2 that they have for some reason. Slay the Heavens, Taintshi. I'm sorry. This is I think unclashable or indiscriminate. This skill does not trigger defense skills and eternal effects cannot trigger this slot to be forced. Each of allies' blades descending sanity while using this skill on use for this encounter lose offense level and gain base power as unit attacks. On kill heal SP. On kill gain entangled life. We'll read that a little later. Equal to damage dealt by this skill. On hit inflict after image. If target House Spider's identity, deal X percentage HP damage as false damage. This is like the skill they use to kill Yi Sang. So I'm very happy it's not on kill, get one offense level up, which is what I was thinking it would be for a while. But we'll see. I may have to hold my words. Skill 2-2. On Clashful, skills not trigger defense skills, which is nice. On use, game poise count, always nice. For attack, if this skill was triggered by skill 3, apply the skill attack weight equal to the number of enemies that have Phantom Trace. I think that's Phantom Trace. Yeah, Phantom Trace. And prioritize said enemies. Skill and Phantom Trace on target expires. Deal more damage on crit hit. Alright. Inflict after image. Inflict after image. Equal to entanglement on self. On hit, activate burn on target. Target loses burn count. I thought target did not lose burn count. On hit, inflict slash fragility. Didn't need slash fragility, but okay. I think it's interesting that they're able to use burn and bleed like rupture, specifically like on the skill 3. I am a little worried this ID may be a bit bleed going to be very not good for bleed teams, but very good in like every other team. But who knows? Bleed has been slowly but surely like creeping its way to like be able to be used without sanguine if you're smart. I'll save what I think by the end though. And then rend space, echo shower. I I can't read that. On use, this skill loses severing this string severance. Sorry, severance on self. But you gain cloning power. Deal more damage for every access attack weight beyond the target. Alright, so this skill would have attack weight. Attack and raise entanglement min max stat cap and reduce entanglement on self by minimum stack. That's interesting. Consume Dewey Star Blade. Alright, so this is a 2-coiner, which is kind of scary. So, on hit gain poise count, inflict burn, inflict bleed, deal more damage on crit hit, consume all after image on target, and deal slash damage equal to after image consumed times X of this coin's final power. On crit, deal slash damage equal to the entanglement X of the coin's final power. On crit, activate burn on target, lose burn count. Activate bleed on target, lose bleed count. Again, just being able to use them like rupture is always, in my opinion, powerful. And the final one is rend space string connection. Indiscriminate. This skill does not trigger your defense skills on use game poise. Gain Shin Dewey Star. I mean, of course, had to have Shin. Remove this target's first stat. What? Remove this target's first stagger threshold. Huh? Inflict burn, inflict bleed, activate burn on target. Target lose burn count. Okay, let's just read the defense. Phantom Steps. Combat start trigger one of the House of Spire's identity with the lettermost deployed center. At X string severance, target one additional ally. At skill end of this target's equipped of the skills equipped by the target this turn, or the target is staggered, or its target does not have any skills remaining, use the Slay Heavens Tosha against target as unopposed attack. Precisely the Pinky Apprentice. Last combat start game poise count on evade game poise. That looks interesting. I'll save again more of my thoughts for the end, but it seems what they do is you use this skill and then they use this skill. Let's go over the page of passives. It's gonna be a lot. There's a whole. This is like this is like a Rien saying levels of things. So let's go for the first one. Is that Psyche? Huh. Upon entering the counter first time, gain entanglement and string severance. So she starts encounter with that. So depending on how powerful they are, you basically get a free buff. Upon entering this counter first time, raise entanglement, min or max cap based on the number of house spiders identities in the loadout. So basically, if you grab all your spiders and throw them in the field, then you're good. If any of the house spiders identities are in the field, any house spider allied allied identities are in the field, transfer HP taken to the house spider's identity that has the lowest current HP percentage. When this unit takes damage that brings its HP to 0, this user HP does not drop to 0 for the turn. Apply the following effects based on the House Spider ally identity set. So you're gonna gain entanglement. For this encounter, gain an additional effect based on which of the House Spider identities was defeated. Each of them's different. Oh god. So the index nurse father use saying upon using base attack skills, convert the final coin into an unbreakable coin. Deal more damage with base attacks skills unbreakable coins. The index apprentice Don Quixote upon using base attack skills, gain poise on crit using base attack skills, inflicting sinking. Alright. The middle apprentice Ishmael gain defense level and additional burn potency using base skills. The ring nurse father Hong Lu gain systematic fusion inspiring melody. Ring apprentice Faust gain shield equal to X HP every turn. Pinky apprentice gain poise count and crit damage up at every turn start. Gonna save what I think. If there are no identities left to substitute or return, the Blade of the House of Spiders Ryōshū gains skill slots based on the number of House of Spiders allies are defeated. This effect carries increased skill slots beyond the maximum skill slot cap of this encounter. For certain game content, this effect can activate regardless of content. Skill slots increase reduction. When the Charment change battle music until turn end. I mean, Ricardo Cliff had it. You might as well give it to the season highlight identity. No point just, you know, keeping it to just one ID. If that makes sense, sure. But yeah. There's definitely gonna be more of these. There's gonna be one for Otis, there's gonna be one for the two thumb. There's no way there's not gonna be. I bet the thumb one's gonna be good for burn, and the Otis one may be good for bleed. Alright, another passive. Dewey Star. At X Dewey Star, activate Ren Space String Coordination, which is just her skill 3-2. Against a random enemy at the very end of the turn, once per encounter, after using Ren Space String Connection. Due to this effect, apply the following effects on self. Can now retreat this encounter. Good enough, wasn't expecting to. At turn end, X Dewey Starblade, replace base skill with Ren Space Echo Share. At turn start, prioritize the skill with the leftmost skill on the bottom row of the dashboard. This unit is considered an identity that inflicts burn, bleed, and poise. Yeah, we need all that. We already were doing all that. Space-time after image collapse. Turn start. Inflict Phantom Trace on a random enemy for abnormality cores. Inflict Phantom Trace on one additional random enemy for every X House of Spiders allies identity death. Combat start. If an enemy that has Phantom Trace is the main target of this unit's base attack skill, use Invulnerable Tension as an unopposed attack before using said base attack skills. On base attack skill used against the target has Phantom Trace. Convert all coins of the said skill into unbreakable coins and gain final power and gain entanglement. This is it's weird because actually that's a lot like the index. And then this is probably gonna be a passive husband. I think this one. Aftermid Reverberation. Argalia reference? Deal more damage on crit hits using base attack skills for every surplus poise past X poise on Zelf. On crit using base attack skills, inflict after image. Great Tricholiasm Ryōshū Ego passive can be activated using attack skills targeting allies. I just gotta sit back for a minute. It's just free damage. It's just free damage essentially for a passive. It's like you want to crit more? Here's more crit. Support passive. Master Triluge. I don't know. When the ally with the earliest deployment order uses a base skill, said ally gains poise potency. It's okay. It just sounds okay. Depends on how much poise potency. But I assume that if you're running this ID in a House of Spiders team, this is your main person. So, there's only a few more that we gotta go over, and this is it. First off, Afterimage. Take more damage from slash skills for every X slash. Yep, we just love fragile. Entanglement. Skills and passive effects can increase min or max stack of this effect. I think Entanglement, if I remember correctly, is just a skill. Phantom Trace. Take more damage from the Blade of House of Spires Ryōshū base attack skills. More damage. String Severance. Gain stack for every House Spider's Nurse Father ally death. Gain unique effect based on the House Spider ally's death. Take less damage from every stack. Yeah, that's the Lord of Hong-Yuan Bolus transfer, if I remember correctly. Dewey Starblade. Total sum of after image stacks inflicted by this unit. Gain up to X stacks per turn. And then finally the Shin Dewey Star. Gain min-max speed, makes sense. Upon using a base attack skill, gain poise potency and poise count. This unit's base attack skills deal more damage on crit hit. Take less damage from unopposed attacks and unbreakable coins. And that is the kit. I may have read through it a bit fast, so I'm going to give some final thoughts here. This is definitely going to be a good identity. There's no way this isn't. But I think this is going to be an identity that really is dependent on its ramp. One thing I know it's not going to struggle with is poise. This thing's going to gain so much poise. It says gain poise, count gain poise. I'm 100% sure it's going to be like on their defense or on her skill 1, it's going to be like 5 poise count. It's going to be insane. They're going to gain so much poise. This is going to be a Renclair situation. You're never going to have to worry about poise. And then, but I'm more concerned on bleed and burn. Bleed's always been a little hard to upkeep, especially before Rings and Sanguine Desire. But the thing is, I don't know how much bleed counts inflicted in. There are like a lot on crits and like a lot on like attacks, but never says bleed count, which worries me. So I think if you can't really run this identity in a bleed team. Now, you are going to run it with the 2 ring IDs, which means the best team comp probably for this ID that I'm thinking right now is you put this Ryōshū as your first, then Rian Sang, then the 2 ring IDs, then, the other 2 nurse fathers. That's my thought of how you would run this, team. Because you want to get the bleed conditionals. I think this is going to be a very good ID. Again, I've said that. Especially because it looks like they do a lot of unopposed attacks. And unopposed attacks, I still believe, are going to be the meta for Limbus Company. I guess what worries me is just how fast is this character's ramp going to be. Rian Sang has unholy amounts of ramp. in any combat encounter. Same with, the Ringner's father. I think Rienseng's a little worse in my opinion, but also better at ramping. The reason I say that is because his ramp kind of just requires you attack the enemy. I think in like 5 turns you can get Furioso and you're fully ramped. For this identity, it's really hard to say because it requires killing your own allies with Slay the Heavens. But the thing is, how much damage will Slay the Heavens really do? It's a 1 coin skill. Maybe it rolls extremely high, but who knows? Like, I'm gonna say Slay the Heavens rolls between a 14 to 16. Is that truly enough to kill one of your allies at full health at start of combat? No. But what if it could? What if. Stay with me now. What if a strategy for this ID is to bring in all level 1s? That sounds really interesting. It's hard to say. This ID will definitely be great. It'll be goated. I mean, there's 3 skill 3s, all of which do a ton of damage. No coin reuse though, from what I've seen. But I don't think that matters when you just are probably genuinely gonna roll high and you're gonna do a lot of damage. Um, Honestly, I think that's where I'm gonna end it. I think this ID is gonna be good. Maybe watch, maybe watch out if you're trying to use them in bleed. But for burn, I don't think burn matters. Just like this is like maybe a weird thing, but if we're talking burn, put on like my opinion on burn is like if you're trying to run them in burn, I would put on Liu Association Honglu for the passive. Then I would put on Fire Fist, and you're probably fine with this ID. Fire Fist is not leaving burn anytime soon. Anyways, thank you for listening, and I hope that everyone listening to this who has made it to the end has a great day. Bye bye, everyone.